Hey guys, it's Licious Kid from ClimaxCombo, and we're back with another Leaks of the Week. This is the final week for To Love Through Darkness and for Charlotte. Both of those are coming out on the 18th, which is the day of this recording. So both these series are out, so if you want to look at the entire list, you can easily find them online. And of course, we're continuing off with the Cinderella Girls trial deck, which is coming out next week on the 25th. So but before we get started, I would like to restate that my friend has purchased To Love Through Darkness booster boxes. They are currently on the way. They should be coming in early next week, and hopefully we can record it as soon as possible. But he's a pretty busy man, and we both have school, so getting our schedules to match might be a little difficult. But hopefully we can get it up as soon as possible because I'm really excited for that series. And I've also stated that my other friend has bought Charlotte trial decks. They are currently on the way as well. However, the shipping he got with the Charlotte trial decks wasn't a really good one, so it's not going to be coming that fast. So I'm not exactly too sure when those are coming in, but hopefully it won't take too long, so we can get a box opening of the Charlotte trial deck as well. So you guys can look forward to that. However, I guess sadly, my friend Domo, who is buying the Cinderella Girls booster packs, he is not buying any of the trial decks because he wants to save money, and there's some personal issues, but he lives pretty far away now from us, so even if he did buy the trial decks, we couldn't get a box opening of that either. And even when he gets his booster boxes in the future, I don't think we will be able to record them on the channel because we live a bit too far away to do that now. So unfortunate, but I think we could still get a Cinderella Girls deck profile on the channel when he stops by for the holidays. But anyways, with that out of the way, let's go on. So first day, 2K1 Souls Onegai Cinderella for the Cinderella Girls trial deck. 4 different art, all the same card, all the same name. Really like alternate art, so I really dig what they did here. Well, I wish they did this with Love Live, man. How come Cinderella Girls is getting all the love? Come on, Love Live is way better. Am I right, guys? Anyways, let's go on. More OP cards for To Love Through Darkness, as if all the other weeks weren't OP enough for freaking To Love Through Darkness. But no, the OP train doesn't stop, and another OP card, 00500 double R Sitting Mekon, Housework and Ransel. Man, can't To Love Through Darkness get a bad double R? All their double Rs are OP. Every set should have super strong double Rs for every color, just all across the board. Anyways, what this does, it's a 500 front assist, and on play, you may mill the top 3 cards of your deck. And lastly, during the attack phase, whenever you or your opponent returns a character from your respective waiting room to your hands, all that player character loses 3 soul until the end of the turn. So, To Love Through Darkness has freaking anti-salvage. Like, that was freaking necessary. But anyways, I'm sure you guys all know, I don't think you guys need me to explain this. A very, very good card. It's a 500 front assist, which is good. The second effect is on play, you may mill the top 3, which is really good. Like these two effects are in a card in Love Live, the 00500 Eddie. The Eddie has these two first effects, and that Eddie is really good. I personally think that 00500 Eddie assist is the best level 0 assist in Love Live, just because the mill 3 is super powerful. I think it's just too good. So she has the mill 3 on play, which is, like I said, I personally think is really strong. And lastly, she has anti-salvage. And we all know by now, anti-salvage is really strong. Contai has it, and I'm sure we all played against Contai by now, very strong set. And it's both out in English and JP, so I'm sure we've all experienced an ass whooping from Contai. So, this one has anti-salvage, and we all know anti-salvage is one of the reasons why Contai is really annoying. But at least it's on the choice of 3 now. But still, we all know it's really strong. But the upside, I think this one is a little better than the Contai one, because if you're running this Mekon, you'll probably be running her in the Transformation and Housework deck. And so far from what we've seen, the Transformation and Housework deck has 0 salvaging. Like, their climaxes are 4 gold bars and 4 wind triggers. I honestly think that will be the strongest climax lineup you can run for To Love Through Darkness, Transformation and Housework deck, because those climax combos are just really, really strong. And the gold bar is a good trigger, and the wind trigger is a good trigger as well, so you can't go wrong with 4 gold bars for a wind trigger. So they don't have any salvaging triggers, and all their cards only search, like the Mekon combo searches, their event searches. So yeah, like, there's nothing, like, this doesn't hurt the To Love Through Darkness player at all. which is really, really good. Unlike Kontai, since all of Kontai's colors are really good, if you want to run like salvage along with the Hatsukaze assist or anti-salvage assist, you might like not be able to, or you might choose not to just because it's anti-synergy. But for the transformation and housework deck, it's no problem at all for them because they have zero salvaging whatsoever. So this only hurts the opponent, and that's really good, really strong. So overall, this Mikon broken as hell, and yeah, let's go on. 001500R Q Pajamas Mikon Housework and Ransel. Another really good card. When this card is played from hand to stage, you can pay cost, which is discard a card. If you do, choose one transformation or housework character from your clock, add it to your hand, then clock yourself 1 damage. And it has another effect. It's a pay 1 brainstorm. Pay 1, rest 2 of your characters, reveal top 4 cards of your deck, and place into the waiting room. For every climax amongst those cards, choose one transformation or housework character from your deck, add it to your hand, then shuffle your deck. So yeah, plus brainstorm for the housework and transformation deck. Like, that was really necessary. When we were doing leaks of the week, I was like, maybe transformation and housework won't get a plus brainstorm because the transformation and housework traits already seem really strong. But no, final week, Bushiroad's kicking us in the balls, and they are showing that transformation and housework is indeed getting a plus brainstorm. And like I said many times before in other series, if your series has a plus brainstorm, you should definitely run. You just run it. It's too good and it's too strong. So run. I would say 3 or 4 of these plus brainstormers, and it should be really good. But on top of that, on top of the plus brainstorm ability, she has a very good on-play ability. The ability to just discard a card. You could just discard a climax and then choose a transformation and housework character in your clock to add it to your hand, and then you clock yourself 1 damage. And also a really strong ability, a very good hand fix, and a very good plus brainstorm. Overall, this Mikon is a great card, and I would say definitely run staple in your transformation and housework decks. Just staple, no questions asked. Next up, I guess not so good card for Too Love for Darkness. Finally, 2/1 8K common, Master Teachings Mia, transformation and suites. Combos with the flare trigger right here. So when the climax Wormtown Sainan, I don't know, is placed in your climax border, and this is in the front row, look at your opponent's hand, then choose one of your transformation or housework characters to get plus 3k and plus 1 soul until the end of the turn, and of course the flare trigger is a climax common. I don't think this Mia is really good because A, her stats are weak, B, like I said with the anti-salvage Mikon, they already have 2 amazing climax combo in the series, and I don't think this one is better than the other 2, so I don't really think, like, it's too hard to beat those other 2 climaxes. The gold bar combo is just way strong, and the wind trigger climax combo is just super strong as well. So I guess it's a little unfair, but I mean, those climax combos are just too good to pass up, and because of that, like, there's no reason to give up those climax combos for the transformation and housework build, and this one definitely doesn't cut it. All you do is look at your opponent's hand, and like I said in the last video, looking at your opponent's hand isn't that strong in Weiss Schwarz. It's not nearly as broken as it is in Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Magic. So looking at your opponent's hand, that's not very good. And then you give a character plus 3k and plus 1 soul for the turn, which is nice. That's a huge amount of power. So at level 2, that might be good in case your opponent has like an early level 3 that comes out at level 2. You can use this climax combo to get rid of that really strong level 3. But still, like I said, not strong enough. I would say stick to the gold bar and stick to the wind trigger, and I think that's just way better. So I don't really advise running this Mia. Next up, Charlotte Trial deck cards, 215K TD. Man, that would suck, a 2/1 assist, that's 500 power. Anyways, Otosaka Yu, Superpower, and Student Council, of course. Level assist in front, and it has an ability of you can place him to rest. If you do, choose a superpower character and gets plus 500 power until the end of the turn. This Yu is okay. I mean, first of all, his traits are, I'm assuming, going to be really good. So he has 2 really good traits. He's level assist in front, and that off the bat is already pretty good. And lastly, you can rest him to give one of your other superpower characters plus 500 power, which is nice. Sometimes all you need is that 500 extra power to kill things. But still, I don't think it's good enough. Like let's say that when the Charlotte booster comes out, they have a plus brainstorm that requires you to tap both of your characters, and if that's the case, that doesn't really work well with this Yu because he is, he can't use his startup ability then, and if he can't use his startup ability, then he's a pretty weak level assist. And even if the brainstorm was only like tap itself to get the plus brainstorm off, then like still like yeah you could tap the U, but all it does is give 500 power. Uh, Hopefully I don't think that's strong enough. 500 power isn't that strong, or 500 power is the weakest amount of power you can give in Weiss Schwarz, and you know a lot of times it's just not good enough, and especially in a 2-1 assist. Hopefully I would like I would like a 2-1 assist with more impact in the game. So I don't think this 2-1 assist does enough. But for a trial deck card, it's an okay card. I mean, at least the trial deck has a level assist and it gives a little extra push, which is nice, I guess, especially for beginners, since a lot of beginners are very focused on power. So I guess it's nice for a trial deck. But when the actual booster comes out, like I said, I would like to see a level assist with more impact. Next up, Ayumi 1-0 Otosaka Dining Table Otosaka Ayumi. Pizza sauce and housework trait, of course. Hand Encore. So a decent card as Hand Encore, so you can keep Ayumi around for as long as you wish, and that's not bad at all. And she has the housework trait, which I guess is okay, but Ayumi does lack the superpower trait, so when the actual booster comes out, maybe Ayumi won't be very good because she doesn't have the superpower trait. So kind of sucks because you can't really search it out you can't pump it up with you. You can't search it out with the level 3 now we saw last week. So we'll see. Maybe there'll be like a housework deck you can make instead of having like a superpower focus deck. We'll see. But as a standalone trial deck card, a decent card. And lastly, stock 1 soul. Doesn't combo with anything as of the moment, so yeah, just a stock 1 soul. Who's that guy? Spoilers! Spoilers for people who didn't see. But anyways, let's go on. Tuesday, 0025 double R, Nana, Alien and Animal. It's pay 1, rest 2 of your characters, mill top 4 for every climax amongst those. Choose 1 character in your waiting room and return it to your hand. So the final double R for Two Love Through Darkness. We've seen 2 yellows, 3 greens, and 3 red now. So that's 8 double R. So this is the final double R for Two Love Through Darkness. And like all the other double R's in the series, a good double R. It's a very good double R. She's animal and alien, which is very important. Clearly, these two, the alien and animal traits, are 2 strong traits in the series, and the fact that Nana has both of them makes her playable in both of those in those decks. So that's right off the bat, that's really good. But she's also a plus brainstorm for both of them, and that's really good. The alien doesn't have a plus brainstorm yet, so obviously for the alien deck, this is an instant toss in. However, for the animal deck, it might not be as obvious because in the animal deck, last week we saw the 0-0 Haruna, that's plus brainstorm. However, that Haruna only draws you a card, and you can debate that, I would say salvaging is stronger than drawing, because when you draw, you can't really control what you're getting. You can't get what you need. Like at level 3, if you want to get like your game-ending level 3s, this Nana has a higher chance of getting you the proper level 3s at the moment when you do successfully brainstorm, unlike draw brainstorm. So, there is the ups and downs. Of course, the 0-0 Haruna, what's nice about her is that she's a 500 global during your opponent's turn, and that's really good as well. However, I do think this Nana, for the fact that it does salvage, is better than the Haruna in the animal build. So in the animal build, I would say Nana is a better brainstorm than the Haruna. And I would say it's harder to splash in red in your animal build as opposed to blue, because there's a lot of really strong blue animal cards already. But in red, there's not that many like good animal cards from what I can recall, or good level 0 animal cards. So I think this Nana being the brainstormer of choice for the animal build is a good choice, because she adds more to the color count and she can salvage, which I think is better than drawing. So yeah, overall, Nana works for 2 different decks for the series, and it's a very good effect, so definitely staple in those 2 trait decks. Kind of weird how she salvages any character. That's also another plus side. Nana can salvage any character. No trait restriction tied to this Nana, so you can technically run her in your transformation and housework deck, but I don't think that's necessary, and I don't think you should, because that other Mekon brainstorm is really good as well. So I don't think you need to run in your transformation and housework deck, but hey, technically you can if you want to. You could, if you really like salvaging that much. So yeah, you can technically run her in that build as well, and yeah. And I guess in standard, if anyone cares about standard, this Nana would be good because she can grab any character. kind of weird seeing a brainstorm that grabs any character. Usually it's like music trait, or you know, it has a trait tied to it, but this Nana grabs anything. So I guess in standard that's good as well. I don't know. I don't think I don't play standard, and I imagine most of you guys don't play standard as well. But anyways, let's go on. That's just me rambling. 2/1, 2/5 uncommon twin sisters Nana, alien and animal, of course. It's a first of all, it's a 2/5 backup, and next up, when you use this card's backup, you can pay cost, which is discard 2 cards from your hand to the waiting room. If you do, choose an opponent's character whose level is greater than your opponent's level, and send that character to the waiting room. So yes, anti-change. Like Two Love Root Darkness needed it. They already have everything that a top tier set needs. I guess they were only missing anti-salt or anti-change at this point, and now they got it. So anti-change, really good. If your series has anti-change, usually you should run 1 to 2 of it, because having the option to anti-change is really strong. So yeah, this should be no exception. This one is a bit different, however. The cost to anti-change is discard 2 cards from your hand. I don't think we've seen that kind of anti-change yet. So this one is very intensive on the hand, as you can clearly see, because you lose 1 hand size for using the backup, and then you discard an additional 2 cards, so technically you're losing 3 cards in your hand to anti-change, which is quite a lot. But still, I definitely think in certain situations, definitely worth it. And once again, of course, since it's Nana, she's alien and animal, which is of course once again really good. But of course, because she is a backup, you can run her in any deck. You can run her with the transformation and housework deck, because you know, to use her backup ability, you don't have to play her. So yeah, really good. But I guess the only problem is if you are running her in your transformation and housework deck, you can't search her, because all their transformation and housework cards only grab each other. So if you're running her in your transformation and housework deck, you pretty much have to draw into her legitimately, which might not always happen. But still, it's nice that they have the option to have an anti-change. And of course, I'm not too sure how necessary this is in the alien build, because in the alien build we saw the 2/1 Lala a couple weeks ago that has the resistance ability with the level 3 Lala that is pretty much like an anti-change suicider. So you know, they have that, and it's much cheaper than this anti-change. But still, I think even if you are running that 2/1 Lala, having this 2/1 Nana backup, I think is still good, because you know, when you do anti-change successfully, you don't take that 1 damage. And also, yes, you do have to discard 2 cards from your hand, but it's any 2 cards, so you can use it as a clutch way to discard climaxes before you refresh. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of versatility to this card, like all anti-changes. So definitely a solid addition to Two Love Root Darkness, and you can't go wrong with running 1 or 2 of these in any build. Next up, 00 2500 uncommon modest support Momo, alien and ant plant. Haven't we seen this card already? I guess not, but I think I've seen this card already. Anyways, what this card does is it combos with Secret Garden, which is this very arousing red stock 1 soul. Why is it called Secret Garden? Anyways, so when you play the Climax Secret Garden, and this card's in the front row, you can pay cost, which is clock yourself 1 damage. If you do, look at top 2 cards of your deck, choose a cost 0 or lower character amongst those cards, play them onto any separate borders on your stage, then discard any remaining cards to your waiting room. So this Momo is kind of inconsistent and can be a little gimmicky, perhaps. But if it does successfully go off, I think it's quite powerful. So you have this 0/0 Momo in the front, you play the red stock 1 soul, and then you look at top 2 cards of your deck, and then of course if there's any cost 0 character amongst those cards, you can place them onto the stage, which can be really devastating, especially at level 0. Like, can you imagine playing the 0/0 Momo, red stock 1 soul, you hit 2 level 1s off the top of your deck and you place them onto separate borders, your opponent is completely screwed all of level 0, because your level 1s are just going to wreck their face. So yeah, it can be really devastating. Of course, it can completely whiff and do you nothing. Like, you clock yourself, you look at top 2, oh crap, a cost 1 and a cost 2, like, and then they just go to the waiting room. So you clock yourself for no reason. But still, you're not losing out on that much, because the cost is only to clock yourself and to play the climax, and that's really like light. Like, if you do manage to hit 1 or 2 characters, that's a pretty good trade-off in the end, because if you hit 1 character, you +1, which is pretty good, and if you hit 2 characters, you +2, which is really good. So yeah, I mean, it's very hit or miss. I'm personally not a fan of this climax combo. Like, yeah, in the early stages, like at level 0 and at level 1, it can be really powerful. But on like at level 3, it just really doesn't do enough. Like kind of pseudo brainstorms question mark. But at level 3, you have to clock yourself. That's definitely not worth it. So I'm personally not a fan of this card. I don't really advise you running it. I think there are stronger climax combos in 2 level darkness red anyways. Like the red build, you're running 4 of the gate that combos the level 3 Momo. I think that's no questions asked. I think everyone knows you should be running that Momo climax combo. I think it's really strong. And then besides that, it's kind of up in the air. I guess you could run like the 1-0 trial deck climax combo. That's the combo with the other red stock 1 soul. That's a strong contender in my opinion. Perhaps you could be running that, or I guess if you want to, you could run this Momo combo. But I'm personally not a fan. But I have to admit that it does have potential, but a little too inconsistent and gimmicky for my taste personally. It's really cute though. Like, goddamn. Anyways, let's go on. 1065 PR. So we're gonna be seeing a bunch of PRs. So I'm assuming these are like the box PRs you get with every booster pack. They're pretty cute. 1065 PR. Alien and Plant, of course, because it's Momo. What she does is when it's played from hand to stage, reveal top card of your deck. If that card is level 0 or lower, place this card to rest. So we've seen these like 106k, 1065s that have this on play and then reveal top, and if it's level 0 or something, then put to rest or like kill it. These cards are okay. I mean, this Momo is really oversized. She's a 1065, which is really, really strong. That's as strong as you get. But then, of course, reveal top, and if it's a level 0, then she goes to rest, so you pretty much lose out on an attack, and then at that point, you're kind of at an awkward situation. Yeah, you could put her in the back, or like, you could just leave her in rest, or you could play over her, but still, it's kind of like, not too sure. Not really feeling it. It's okay with level 0, but for level 1, it gets a little iffy. Of course, 2 Level Darkness does have some top checkers we've seen already. We saw the 0-0 Momo last week that does top check. We saw the level 0 Nana that top checked last week. However, that Nana is a little different, but still essentially quote-unquote top check. So yeah, you can use top checkers in conjunctions with this Momo to make it a bit more safe. But I'm not really a fan. I would say like stick to the Suiciders we saw a couple weeks ago. You can stick to the Suicider. You can stick to the 1-1, or you could even use like the 1-0 that combos with the stock 1 soul in the trial deck. So there are other options, but I mean for a box PR, or I should say for a PR, it's not bad, and it's really cute. Next up, sorry about that, where was I? Anyways, next up, 00500 PR, Puchilala, Alien and Science. What this does is a 500 in front assist, and when you play from hand to stage, you can pay cost, which is 2. If you do, choose an alien character from your waiting room and return it to your hand. A fine card, 500 in front assist, and on play pay 2 salvage. I really like the pay 2. I really like cards with the on play pay 2 salvage ability. I'm just personally, I like that ability a lot. If I can, I usually try to squeeze that effect into my decks. So I personally like this card as 500 assists and pay 2 salvage. 2 effects I really like. So in my opinion, I like it. And for a PR, I don't think you can complain. I think it's a pretty solid PR. It's exactly like the Guilty Crown Inori assist. So yeah, a good card. I'm not too sure what Red has to offer for assists. This is a pretty good assist. I can't really remember any strong level 0 red assists we've seen for 2 Level Darkness because there's so many strong cards. Kind of get overwhelmed by how strong the set is, but I can't really remember the other strong level red, or I can't really think of other strong red level 0 assists in 2 Level Darkness. I think there's a 500 global that got when the entire booster. I saw the entire booster list. I skimmed through it really fast, and I think I saw a 500 global for red. So maybe like that will be better than this. I can't exactly remember, but anyways, as a standalone card, it's very good. Next up, 105k PR Nana, Alien, and Animal. When this card is played from hand to stage, choose one of your alien characters, get plus 1k power until the end of the turn. It's okay, like the other PR. It's okay. I don't think it's necessary. Definitely not necessary. And I guess if you have enough space in your level 1 lineup, I guess you can run maybe one of these Puchinanas. But I think there's like already a bunch of really good level 1 Nanas or level 1 aliens. Like you have the 1-0 Lala that on play discard top check 4. They have the level 1 Suiciders. They got like the 1-1 hand Encorer, etc. etc. So, and you can even run this Momo. So, don't think there's enough space for this Pucci Nana. I don't think it's strong enough. Anyways, trial deck 117k, Otosaka Dining Table, Otosaka U, Superpower, and Student Council, just your good old 1-1 vanilla. Next up, 2185, Shira Yanagi Yumi, once again, a vanilla. Of course, as you can see, this Yumi has no trait. Hopefully they don't make more of these Yumi cards, because having no trait kind of sucks, unless your deck has no trait synergy, kind of like Index, but I don't really see that happening for this series, so hopefully there's not too many of this Yumi girl. And she only appeared for like 2 eps, so who really cares? Anyways, plus 2 soul special ability Climax. Next up, Cinderella Girls, 1-1 TD, super happy candy shower. It's an event, so you just pay 1, search your deck for a music character, show it to your opponent, add it to your hand, shuffle your deck. Very simple, not a bad event. For a trial deck, a fine event, but when the actual booster comes out, I guess if you have space, you can run a couple of these, but we'll just have to see what else the series has to offer for events and for level 1 lineup. Next up, 1165 Chieri, Music and Clover, Hand Encore. 1165 with Hand Encore, not bad, not that strong, especially in today's meta. It's pretty weak, but for a trial deck card, it's fine. And do keep in mind she's Chieri with Hand Encore, so it's really easy to keep Chieri around for as long as possible. And last week we saw the 1045 Anzu that gets plus 15 if you have a Kirari, a Chieri, or I forgot the third character. But anyways, Chieri is one of the characters that does synergize with that 10 Anzu. So the fact that you have Anzu, or the fact that you have a Chieri that can stick around on the field for a pretty long time, I think it's really good in synergy with the 10 Anzu. So yeah, this trial deck is looking pretty, or the Cinderella Girl trial deck overall is looking pretty good so far. A lot of solid cards just from what we've seen. Anyways, more solid trial deck cards. 2-1 5k TD, my first Daranko, Music and Darkness. It's a level assist in front, and what it does, it has another ability of when a Climax is played onto your Climax border, look at top card of your deck and either place it on top or leave it to, or put it to the bottom of your deck. Then choose one of your characters and cast plus 500 power until the end of the turn. So like I said with the U, a level assist in a trial deck, that's just fine, really good. Of course, Ranko has the music trait, which I'm assuming, and I'm sure it's obvious that's going to be the dominant trait in the series. And then the secondary ability is pretty good, kind of like Yu's, but a bit more specific, but you get a bit more kick out of it. When you play Climax, look at top card, you can leave it there or put it to bottom, so you get a nice little trigger check, nice little deck control, a little scrying, and then you give a character plus 500. So, just like you, a fine level assist. And the top check is nice when you play Climax, especially because the trial deck has, I'm assuming, 4 2k1s, and the 2k1s break even, so that's really good with the 2-1 5k. That way it doesn't force you to minus or lose out in hand size when you want to use the Ranko's secondary ability off, so that's really good in the trial deck. But when the actual booster comes out, same thing with the U. Hopefully they get a level assist with a bit more kick and a bit more emphasis and a bit more impact in the game. But definitely a good trial deck card. Anyways, let's go on to more True Love Darkness. 1-0 uncommon Black Cat mode. Very cute card if I do say so myself. Look at top 4 cards of your deck. Choose one animal or plant character amongst them. Show it to your opponent. Add it to your hand and discard the remaining amount. And it has a second effect of choose one of your characters. Gets plus 2k until the end of your opponent's next turn. And then you place this character to clock. Not a bad event. It's costless. You look at top 4, so you choose an animal or plant, and then you add it to your hand. So it's like a good hand fix, a free brainstorm, a pseudo brainstorm, and you get a character out of it, and then you give a character plus 2k until the end of your opponent's next turn, which is also quite nice. But you do have to clock yourself 1 damage, which does hurt a lot in the late game and when you're using multiple Black Cat mode events. But still, a fine event, not bad at all. And I think it's playable, so I think you could get away with running 2 or 3. I really don't think you need to run 4 in the deck. I would say 3 max. I would say 2 is a good number. If I wanted to run this event, I would personally run 2, if I have enough space. But yeah, and it's freaking hot, man. This Yui girl, she's sexy. Anyways, let's go on. 1500 or more sexy Yui cards. Disciplinary Committee and Animal. When this card is played from hand to stage, I remember this card. This card's good. Place from hand to stage, you may place X cards from the top of your deck to the waiting room, where X is the number of alien or animal, or I'm sorry, number of animal or plant characters you control. And on attack, you can choose one of your other characters that gets +1 level and +1k until the end of the turn. So this Yui, like, this first effect is super good. Like I said with the 0/0 Mekon, the ability to on-play mill top 3, I think that's really good. But this Yui has the potential of milling you 1 or milling you up to 5 characters, just depending on what your field setup is. And having that free brainstorm on play, I think is just really, really strong. I guess the only downside to this Yui, quote unquote downside, is that it's not up to, like, if you play her with the full field, you must mill 5. It's not up to X, so it's not like I want to mill 3. Nah, if you have a full field, you have to mill all 5, which, might suck, and it might be a little hard to control this Yui. But I think it's easy enough, and with a bit of practice, I'm sure you'll get really good with this Yui. And I just think it's just super good. Like, on play, free mill, OP, just really good. Her first ability is really strong, so her having a secondary ability on top of it, I think is just the icing on the cake. You attack, you give a character +1 level and +1k power until the end of the turn. +1 level, not that relevant unless your opponent is like having has a suicide in the front row, but most of the time your opponent doesn't. And you give a nice +1k power, which is nice. So a very strong first ability with a decent secondary ability. If you're running an animal deck, I think this card is staple. I would say run 3 or 4 of this Yui, because I think the brainstorm is too strong. Next up, more Yui cards. 2/1 common Shameless Happening Yui. Disciplinary Committee and Animal, of course. During the battle of this card, all players may not play any backup abilities from their hand. And it has an auto ability of when this card is played from hand to stage, and if you have 4 more animal or plant characters, you may get a stock. So essentially, with a full field, it's like a costless 8k beater, which is nice. And when you do a battle with it, you or your opponent can't use backups, which is also quite nice. But I don't think it's good enough. Her stats are way weak, super weak. I mean, I guess it makes sense because she's technically like a costless character, but when you do play her, you get her secondary condition off, it is a blind stock, so I would say you should pay it out as soon as possible, maybe by brainstorming, just to get rid of that blind stock. Because if it's a climax, that really sucks. I think there are better level 2 options in 2 Level Darkness than this Yui. You have the 3/2 Nana we saw last week, and we saw the 3/2 Haruna a couple weeks back. So I have 2 other strong options for the animal builds. I don't think this Yui is very necessary. More 2 Level Darkness PRs. 002K PR, Pucci Mikan, Housework, and Ransel. When this card is played from hand to stage, choose one of your Housework or Transformation characters, get +1500 power until the end of the turn. Not a bad card. It gives a nice chunk of power, and power is pretty important in 2 Love Through Darkness Housework and Transformation deck because of the 1/0 Mekon that combos with the gold bar. That 1/0 Mekon needs all the power she can get, so having a card that gives a pretty good amount of power on play, I think it's pretty welcome addition. So if you have a couple extra slots in your level 0 lineup, running 2 or 3 Pucci Mekons I think is pretty good, because I definitely think that's a pretty respectable amount of power this Mekon gives. And like I said, the 1/0 Mekon needs a lot of power. The more power she can get, the better. So a fine addition to 2 Love for Darkness. If you have space in your level 0 lineup in green for tech cards, running maybe 2 of these Mekons, I think it'll do you just fine. 00PR Pucci Yui, Disciplinary Committee and Animal. If you have 1 or less other characters, the card gets +1k power, and the following ability of the character directly opposite of this cannot move to any border. So, I think this card is really good. She's a 0035 for pretty easy conditions, so that right off the bat is pretty good. But she's an anti-runner, and as we've seen, or as we all know, running is OP, And you know, it seems like every new series is getting a runner that Bushiroad is pumping out. So um, you know, with all these runners, a lot of strong series have runners, and with a lot of runners running around, having this UE to stop them in their tracks is always good. So definitely a very good PR. Maybe probably the best PR from what we've seen so far. A fine a level 0 green beater, and the option to stop opponent cards from running, really good. And we haven't seen much good 0/0 beaters for green so far. So this is like the first 3/5 green beater we've seen in Two Lover Darkness. So you can run this in conjunction with the sitting Yui we saw last week, and she can be like a 0/05k, which is also really good. So overall, a really good PR. Hopefully my friend gets a couple of these in his boxes, maybe a couple of Mikons, a couple of Yuis. Hopefully that's the case. Anyways, on to Charlotte, 0025 TD, ability, utilization, Tomari Now, superpower, and student council. On play, this card gets plus 1500 power until the end of the turn. Not a bad card. These 0/0s that on play get plus 15 to hit 4k power. Not bad, no downside, and it hits the right numbers at level 0. So overall, a very fine trial deck card, and a pretty strong contender for a level 0 yellow beater when the actual booster comes out. Next up, a not so good card. 2/2 8k 2 soul superpower and student council. If you have 4 more cards in your hand, it gets plus 2k power until the end of the turn. I'm sure you guys all know by now, but I'm not a huge fan of 2/2s. If it's a 2/2, it's gotta have a serious impact in the game, like the one in Rewrite does. I don't think this Jojiro, I don't even know his name. He hasn't been in the anime for a couple episodes now. Jojiro, 2/2 10k. If you have 4 more cards in your hand. Usually that's not too hard to do, but do keep in mind this is a trial deck, and so far this trial deck has like 0 ways to plus, so this might actually be pretty difficult in the trial deck. And a lot of good players don't know how to manage their resources wisely. So this for a trial deck card, I'm not a big fan of because, like I said, it's hard for trial decks and it's hard for new players to manage resource well. So I don't think it's good. Even when the actual booster comes out, I desperately hope they have better options than this because this card sucks. Anyways, let's go on to Cinderella Girls. 00500 TDs, Rika, Music and Gyaru. All your charismatic JK Mika gets plus 1k power. We'll go over that card shortly. And it has an on-play ability where when you play from hand to stage, you can pay cost, which is 2. If you do, search your deck for a music character, show it to your opponent, add it to your hand, and shuffle your deck. The card it synergizes with is the Mika right here, 1/0 charismatic JK Mika, Music and Gyaru. During your own turn, gets plus 2k power. So Mika off the bat is okay. She's a 1045, so very weak, but of course during your own turn she gets plus 2k, so she's a 1065 on offense, which is a respectable number, and for a trial deck, definitely a respectable card as well. But on top of that, so she as a standalone card is okay, but this Rika makes this Mika all that much better because this Rika gives this Mika plus 1k power, and that's pretty good. So like if you have this Rika and then this Mika with just one Rika, this Mika becomes a 7/5. If you have 2 of these Rikas, she becomes a 8/5. No, yeah, 8/5, and if you have 3, 9/5. If you have 4, 10/5, which is just hilarious at that point. But so yeah, this Rika, the fact that it gives this Mika power is pretty good. But also this Rika has a really good on-play ability. Not really good, a good. I'll just say a solid on-play ability. Solid on-play ability. Pay 2 search. Can't go wrong with that. You get to pay out climaxes, and it's only a level 0 Rika. I guess the only downside to this Rika is that she's super weak, 500 power. That's as low as you get in the game. So that kind of bites. But I mean, she has 2 pretty good abilities, especially in a trial deck. It's a really good trial deck card. So 2 pretty solid abilities for for a solid card. So overall, a fine pair of cards, especially for a trial deck. Man, why can't all trial decks be like Cinderella Girls? Kind of sucks. It kind of seems like Charlotte is kind of getting the shitty end of the stick. But let's go on. 1/1 failure red event. Choose one of your music characters in your waiting room, return it to your hand, and choose one of your characters that gets plus 1k power until the end of the turn. An okay event. You pay 1, you salvage, which is already pretty okay off the bat. And you give one character plus 1k power until the end of the turn. Not a bad event, but not the greatest event. If you have extra space in your red level 1 lineup, when the actual booster comes out, I guess you can consider a couple of these. but we'll just have to see. But definitely not like a staple card by any means. It's pretty cute though. Uzuki, pretty cute. 1055, vanilla, music and star. Oh, I guess Anastasia's trait is star. Technically, they're all stars, so don't really know what's up with that, but whatever. Anastasia's cute too. Let's go on to one good at cooking, Mikan, Housework, and Ransel. When your other transformation or housework characters declare an attack, this card gains plus 1k, and it has another effect of when this card declares an attack and the level of the character directly opposite of this is a level 3 or greater, she gets plus 3k until the end of your opponent's turn. So, not a bad card. Definitely one of those anti-level 3 cards that a lot of new series have. When she's fighting a level 3, she automatically gets 3k, so she's 10k power, so she's like at the baseline of most. She can go toe-to-toe with opponents level 3, so that's really good. When your other characters declare an attack, she gets plus 1k. So on offense against an opponent's level 3, she can be 12k power before assist, which is definitely a very high power and can definitely put up a fight against them. Usually will force them to use a backup or some other resources to save that character. So definitely a fine addition to the Housework and Transformation deck, like they needed it, but definitely a fine addition to them. I would say definitely consider run 1 or 2 of these this anti-level 3 Mikan, because it's just a really solid card. For an uncommon and for 1 soul, the ability to pose a threat to your opponent's level 3s, quite nice. And if she does successfully kill the opponent's level 3, then she stays at 10k power until the end of their turn, which is also really good. So definitely a solid card. Next up we have this girl, no idea who this is. 0-1 setting, alien and plant. Blue. Oh, interesting. So there's a blue alien. That's weird. Anyways, R. Oh, she's an R? Weird. I guess you can run blue now with your alien cards? Question mark. I don't know. Maybe this is the only card of this card. Anyways, let's go on. It has alarm. When this card is on top of your clock during the start of your climax phase, choose up to 1 card from the top of your deck, put it to your stock, and then put 2 characters in stand to rest. A pretty funny card. First of all, she's 0-1, which is absolutely hilarious. We haven't seen a 0-1 card in quite some time, so a 0-1, and it's an R. But this card is pretty interesting. If she's at the top of your clock during the climax phase, you can put the top card of your deck to your stock, and then you put 2 of your characters in stand to rest. So, oh wow, is this effect mandatory? Top of your clock during start climax phase. Oh, it's not even a May ability, so you have to if you choose to do this, and at times that might bite you in the ass. Still a pretty funny card. I guess if you're running blue or aliens, you can consider running this, but do keep in mind the effect is mandatory. So like if you accidentally clock it and then like later you tap both your back row, you're gonna have to put 2 of your front row characters to rest, and that might really suck. So, but at times it can be really good. Like you clock this, you keep your back row on stand, climax phase, you put both of them to rest, and then you get to get a free stock. Quite nice, but it is a blind stock, and like I said, with what card did I say that with? Like with the Yui, blind stock is a little iffy because it can be a climax, so it can screw you up. But still, a pretty funny card. 0-1, that off the bat is just hilarious. With a pretty cool clock ability. I like the clock ability. I think it's pretty cool. Or I like the alarm ability. I think it's pretty cool. But I don't think it's worth it. I would say save your deck for... save spots in your deck for better cards. So I don't advise running it, but I like the concept. 1-0 Puchiyami, 5k, PR, Transformation, Taiyaki. During your own turn, if all your characters are Transformation or Housework, she gets plus 2k power. So she can be a 107k if all your characters are Transformation or Housework, which is easy enough to fulfill. So this Puchiyami is a pretty solid PR and a pretty solid 1-0 beater because it can be 7k during your own turn if you have a full field of Transformation Housework, and that's easy enough. So pretty easy conditions, and she's a 107k. So that's pretty good right off the bat. So definitely a playable card. I'm not too sure if people will be running this because like in the Transformation and Housework deck, we already have the 1-0 Mikan. I think that's a definite 4 of in your deck, no questions asked. You already have 4 of those 1-0 Mikans. You already have the 4 of the 1-0, the other 1-0 Mikan that gets 500 per character on the field. So that's already like 8 1-0s in your deck. So I guess you could run like maybe 2 more of these 1-0 Yamis. But yet again, you have the 1-0 Mia backup that's a 2K, so you could be running 3 or 4 of those. So that's already like 12 or 11 level 1, depending on how you want to go for like your level 1 lineup in To Love Your Darkness. So I'm not too sure if there's even any more space for this Pucci-Yami, but still, the level 1 lineup's a little tight. A lot of strong competition in the 1-0 lineup, so it might be a little hard to squeeze this in. But for a PR, definitely solid. And if you do choose to run this 1-0 PR, I don't think anyone will blame you because it is a solid card. And this Yami's really cute. So yeah, let's go on. 0015 PR Pucci Mia, transformation and suites, of course. You can pay 2, play 2 of your characters to rest, look at top 2 cards of your deck, choose one of them, add it to your hand, and discard the remaining amount. Not too sure about this Pucci Mia, not too sure. I don't think it's really necessary because her ability is pretty heavy, but also like you could get this ability off by other means. There's the 1-0 or there's the 005 global Mia that does this with the resonance ability, and you have the 0-0 sitting Mia that when she gets reversed, you can pay 1, clock yourself, and get the exact same effect off. So there's other means to get this ability off. So I don't think this Pucci Mia is necessary because there's already other methods to get it off. And those other Mia cards that do this ability are also really good cards on their own as well. So I don't think this Mia is necessary. So yeah. 2125 PR Pucci Haruna, sports and animal, of course, and she's a 3K backup. So yeah, simple enough. 00500 TD every day with home cooked food, Otosaka Ayumi, pizza sauce and housework, of course. 500 on friend assist, and her secondary ability is you can pay 1, draw a card, and discard a card. A solid card, 500 on friend assist, which is already pretty good, and with a pretty solid secondary ability, pay 1, draw a card, discard. A very good way to keep your stock clean of climaxes, and a good way to keep your hand free of climaxes as well. So a very strong filtering ability in a 500 assist, definitely a solid card, and you can't go wrong with it. A really good trial deck card and a very solid card when the actual booster comes out. I still think this card is pretty good, so definitely a strong contender for when the booster comes out. 1055 Vanilla Tomori Now, of course, Student Council and Superpower. And a 003K Vanilla Tomori Now, Student Council and Superpower once again. More vanillas, 10-1500, costless backup, music trait, media. Other cards, 002K TD, Grass Victory Miku, music and cat character, what a long name. But anyways, what she does is play from hand to stage. You can pay cost, which is 2. If you do, choose a music character in your waiting room and return it to your hand. So, like I said, with the Lala and with the Lala, I like these on-play pay-to salvage abilities. So I personally think this Miku is good, and so this Miku is a fine card. Definitely not staple, but you can't go wrong with running a couple of these Miku. And for a child deck card, once again, fairly solid as well. Next up, oh my god, this event 3-1 Hanako. I don't even know whose dog this is. Is this Rin's dog? I think it is. I don't remember, but I think it's Rin dog's. Anyways, 3-1 TD Hanako. It's a backup, so put top card of your clock to your waiting room, and then choose one of your characters. It gets plus 2k power until the end of the turn, and then place this card to memory. So goddamn, like what a trial deck with this event, really? Oh my god. Heal event. It's pretty much like that one event in Idolmaster. I have no idea what it's called, but there's a card in Idolmaster, the original Idolmaster, I should say, that's exactly like this event. And that heal event in Idolmaster is pretty good, and so this heal event in Cinderella Girls should be no exception. It costs 1, you heal, and you give a character plus 2k, and it goes to memory. So you heal, you give power, and you compress because it goes to memory for 1 stock, all in 1 card. Definitely really good, and for a trial deck card, that's absurd. So when the actual booster comes out, of course, this Hanako is a strong contender to stay in the actual boosters. God damn. Why can't all trial decks have broken events? This event isn't broken, but why can't all trial decks have really good events? Anyways, let's go on to the final week, or the final day of this week, which is Thursday. 00500 TD Veteran Trainer. Oh, she doesn't have a name, it's just Veteran Trainer. Okay. She's music. She's a 500 in front assist, and you can put this card to rest and choose one of your characters. It gets +1 level until the end of the turn. I guess that's pretty relevant in level 0 because you can give a character +1 level to, kill lingering suiciders at level 1, at level 0. At level 1, I guess that's kind of relevant as well if your opponent leaves a level 1 suicider in the front row, which is kind of weird to do, but I mean, they can. So it's a 5 unit front assist, which is nice with a, I guess, pretty situational secondary ability. So a fine trial deck level 0 card. Next up, these producers, 001K TD, approaching once more producer, music. All your characters get +500 power. 001K, offering his name card producer, music. All your red characters get +500 power. And lastly, 00TD, under the same umbrella producer, music. All your blue characters get 500 power. So 500 global, which is really good. But also, I think this pretty much confirms. Last week, we talked about how the 00 Uzuki, the 2/5, might hint at the fact that Cinderella Girls might be a color-based or a color-orientated deck, just like how Girlfriend Beta is. So I think this producer, and that was just like foreshadowing, because that was the only card that kind of really was very color-specific. But I think these producers show and pretty much seals the deal and kind of finalizes the fact that Cinderella Girls will be a color-based or color-orientated deck, because as you see, he only gives yellow characters, and this one only gives red characters, and this one only gives blue characters power. So I think that pretty much confirms it. I don't know if people are happy about this or not, because some, the model color might be boring. It might make deck building a little lacking and a little fixed. And Girlfriend Beta already has this whole color-based thing already, so I'm not too sure if I'm happy about this. But I guess it makes sense because, the Cinderella Girls, they all have their own units. So, if they're all in one unit, it's they're all in the same color. And also the mobile game, they have the different coloring and the different traits, like the smile, the passion. I forgot the blue one was. I think it's cool. I don't know, that in Love Live it's cool. I don't remember what it was called in Love Live, but the mobile game, which is exploding right now. They all have their color, so I guess they're trying to keep the theme since it is Cinderella Girls. So I guess that's what they're trying to do, but I'm not too sure if I'm happy with the whole monocolor thing. But still, anyways, these producers are very fine cards for their respective colors. If you're running your respective color, can't go wrong with having 4 producers or X amount of producers in your color-based deck. And for Two Love Your Darkness, nothing. Thank God. Just all these really strong level 3s. Look at that. OP. OP. Pretty good, but kind of OP with the Mia. Really good. Pretty good, I guess. Yui's pretty good, but damn. Damn. And that is the final leak for this week. How much are we at? 53 minutes, so a pretty long video, but I guess it's fitting. This is the final week for Two Love Your Darkness. What a ride, what a journey. Oh man, these Two Love Your Darkness cards, man. Super strong, super strong. I'm very excited to see what Two Love Your Darkness brings to the meta and what it brings to the table. I think Two Love Your Darkness is very powerful, and I'm sure most of you guys think, and I'm sure most of you guys can't tell, and can pretty much predict that Two Love Your Darkness is going to be the next scary set and the next set that we have to keep our eyes on, because clearly it's very strong. But of course, like always, let me know what you guys think below. And of course, the Charlotte trial deck is coming out. I think it's kind of a shame. I don't know, Charlotte, it is a trial deck, and we shouldn't be expecting much out of it. But when it's when the Charlotte trial deck is being shown side to side with the Cinderella Girls trial deck, and the Cinderella trial deck has these really good cards, like this Mika combo, and this freaking heal event. It's kind of oh man, Charlotte is getting the shitty end of the stick, question mark. But hopefully I hope the Charlotte booster deck is strong, because I really do like that series. So I really do hope Charlotte is a strong series. So hopefully the boosters will bring more. You can't judge a series off a trial deck because that's really stupid. So I really hope Charlotte brings more to the table. Hopefully we start Charlotte next week, because I'm really excited for that series. So I really do hope we start that series next week in the leaks. But like always, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And once again, do be keeping an eye out for To Love Through Darkness content on the channel. And I hope you guys are excited for it. And until next time, guys.